My name is Marcus Reed. I was a Navy SEAL for over a decade, stationed in some of the most volatile regions on Earth. Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria. Places where war isn't just on the news. It's the air you breathe. I've seen things I wish I could unsee, and done things that still wake me up in a cold sweat. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for what happened on January 9th, 2023. That day, I died. Clinically dead. No pulse, no heartbeat. Gone. And what I experienced in those minutes changed my life forever. It wasn't just a brush with death. It was a mission, a revelation, a calling. And I need you to hear every word. I didn't come back to share a feel-good story. I came back with a warning and a choice. Not for politicians, not for generals, for you. What I saw, what I was shown. It's already unfolding right in front of our eyes. And yet there's still a chance, a real chance, to stop what's coming. But it's going to take more than headlines and hope. It's going to take action. It's going to take faith. And most of all, it's going to take prayer. I remember the cold, not the kind that creeps up your spine during a winter patrol, but the kind that grips your soul when you know something is terribly wrong. It was early morning, January 9th. We were deep in the Zagros Mountains of Iran, tracking a high-value target. On paper, it was supposed to be a low-risk recon op. Gather intel, stay off the radar, exfil by sundown. I'd done dozens like it, but something felt different this time. The silence was too deep, the air too still, like the mountain itself was holding its breath. I was leading point when the world erupted in fire. A blast, sharp, blinding, merciless, tore through our convoy. 1 second I was scanning the terrain, the next I was on the ground, choking on blood and smoke. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. All I could hear was the muffled chaos of my brothers shouting, scrambling for cover, calling for medevac. But their voices sounded distant, like they were underwater. The pain was unbearable. My chest was shredded, abdomen torn open. I tasted copper, thick and metallic, as blood flooded my mouth. Then something strange happened. I felt myself being pulled, not physically but spiritually, as if I was being drawn out of my own body. I looked down and saw them working on me. Jackson was giving compressions. Williams was screaming into the radio. But I wasn't in that cave anymore. I was above it, watching it all unfold like a scene in a movie. I felt no pain, no fear, just a strange, quiet release. Then everything shifted. The scene dissolved and I found myself standing in an expanse of pure white light. It wasn't empty, but it wasn't filled with objects either. The light was alive, warm, intelligent, surrounding me without a source. It came from everywhere and nowhere at once. I had never felt anything so peaceful. No war, no guilt, no memories, just a deep, overwhelming love that filled every cell of my being. That's when I saw him. Jesus. He wasn't how I expected him to be, but I knew it was him the moment I saw his face. He wasn't glowing in some cartoonish way. He was light itself, and his eyes, they carried more love than anything I'd ever seen. Not the love of a brother or wife or child. Something deeper, eternal. He spoke my name, not loudly, not softly, but with a voice that thundered and whispered at once. Marcus, he said. And when he said it, it was like he was speaking to a part of me I didn't even know existed. My name didn't just identify me, it revealed me. I couldn't speak. I wanted to. I tried, but all I could do was stare. He smiled, and in that smile I felt everything I'd spent years searching for. Belonging, purpose, forgiveness. What's happening to me? I finally managed to ask. His response wasn't frightening. It was full of kindness. Your body is broken, he said, but your spirit is awakening. And I understood what he meant. I wasn't dead. Not really. I was more alive than I had ever been. Before I could respond, everything around us changed. We were standing on what looked like a mountaintop, but not on Earth. Below us stretched the entire globe, continents, oceans, cities, laid out like a living map. I was given sight beyond anything natural. I saw movement, shadows drifting across the world. At first I thought they were clouds, but they weren't. They were darker than night. Look closer, Jesus said, and I did. My vision zoomed in, like a sniper scope, and I saw armies marching, Missiles being armed, cities preparing for war. It wasn't metaphorical. This was real. I saw leaders signing orders. I saw generals giving commands. And then I saw the flashes. Blinding, violent, final. Cities erased in seconds. Millions gone. I turned to him, trembling. Lord, what is this? He didn't answer immediately. His face was heavy with sorrow. When he finally spoke, it was like the words carried the weight of eternity. The world is rushing toward a war unlike anything it has ever seen. Nuclear fire will fall from the sky. Whole nations will vanish in a day. My heart sank. I saw missiles from Russia, China, North Korea. I saw American cities, New York, D.C., Los Angeles, obliterated. I saw my own home, Virginia Beach, consumed in flame. Is this the future? I asked. Soon, he said. Very soon. The signs are already showing. And then he turned, pointed, and said, "But look again." And what I saw next gave me hope. In the midst of the spreading darkness, I saw lights. Small, faint at first, like candles in the night, but growing brighter as I focused. Each light was a person, on their knees, praying. Some alone in rooms, some in churches, others in war zones. Their prayers were rising like fireflies to the heavens. And then those lights began connecting, forming golden lines across continents. Networks of intercession, cities pulsing with spiritual energy. And everywhere those lights touched, the darkness retreated. These, Jesus said, are my faithful ones. Their prayers are holding back judgment. They are standing between the world and destruction. I stared in awe. These weren't politicians or generals. They were ordinary people. But their prayers were powerful. And then he looked at me. "You must warn them," he said. "Tell them what you've seen. Tell them the time is short. That prayer is more powerful than they know. One person praying in faith can stop a missile. A church united can save a city. A nation on its knees can change the world." I tried to protest. I said, "Lord, who will believe me? I'm just a soldier." He stepped forward, placed his hand on my shoulder, and I felt strength pour into me like electricity. "I will give you the words. I will open the doors, but you must speak, even when they mock you, even when they call you unstable, even when your own people question your sanity. You must tell them." His voice echoed in my soul. I couldn't deny him. I knew what I had to do. Then he said something that struck deeper than anything else. This war is not just about bombs and soldiers. It is about the battle that has raged since the beginning, between light and darkness, good and evil. As he spoke, I saw it. Behind every politician, every general, every world leader, there were shadows. Spiritual forces whispering lies, stoking fear, igniting hatred. Demons cloaked in pride and vengeance, manipulating decisions, feeding egos, turning conflict into inevitability. I had spent my career studying enemies with weapons and uniforms. But this was a war on another level. And yet, Jesus didn't show me this to terrify me. He showed me because I needed to understand. The stakes were higher than anything I had ever faced. I asked him, "How do we fight something like that?" And he answered, "With weapons not made by human hands. Prayer, fasting, worship, repentance. These are your strongest tools in this war." I saw it then, clearly. Every time someone prayed sincerely, a chain snapped in the spirit realm. Every time a congregation fasted, a stronghold weakened. When voices lifted in worship, I saw dark figures recoil. When a nation repented, entire legions of evil were cast out. This wasn't symbolic. It was literal. We'd been looking at spiritual warfare as an idea. Jesus showed me it was the reality behind everything else. Behind every economic collapse, every violent uprising, every war declaration, there was a battle being fought in realms we can't see with human eyes. He showed me churches, thousands of them, filled with people worshiping and praying. Some were alive with fire. Others were cold, mechanical, just going through motions. I saw which ones pushed back darkness and which ones had let it creep in. The difference? Sincerity, unity, brokenness before God. It's not about how many gather, Jesus said. It's about how they gather. I hear the humble. I move when my people cry out. I wanted to weep. All the years I'd spent thinking strength was about control, domination, precision. And here, real power was found in surrender, in kneeling, in broken hearts. "Will they listen?" I asked. He said nothing, just looked into me with that infinite love again, and I knew the answer. They must. The vision shifted again. I saw millions of people, from every race, tribe, and tongue, young and old, soldiers, teachers, businessmen, refugees. They were standing in fields, sanctuaries, prisons, homes, all with hands lifted, faces turned to heaven, united in prayer. The light that came from them was blinding, washing over cities, nations, continents. As it spread, I saw demons retreat. I saw leaders drop to their knees. I saw peace agreements signed where war was certain. I saw nuclear missiles disarmed without explanation. And then I saw children laughing again in places where bombs had fallen. I turned to Jesus, stunned. "Can this really happen?" He smiled. "With me, all things are possible, but it will require more prayer than the church has ever known." He showed me two futures, one where the world ignored the warning, war, fire, ash, silence. Another where people responded, where prayer reshaped the timeline, hope, renewal, restoration. But that second path, he said, is narrowing. Time is short. The window is still open, he told me, but it will not remain forever. That sense of urgency pressed on me like a weight. I thought about my daughters, Emma and Grace. They were just little girls, laughing, playing, dreaming. What kind of world would they inherit? Would they grow up surrounded by peace, or become survivors in a scorched wasteland? The answer, Jesus said, wouldn't come from presidents or generals. It would come from us, from me, from you, from our knees. "I'm tired, Lord," I confessed. "I don't know if I can carry this." He reached out, touched my face, and said, "My strength is made perfect in weakness. You are not going alone." And in that moment, I felt it. Every trauma I had carried, the horrors of combat, the guilt, the shame, began to dissolve. His presence didn't just inspire me, it healed me. I felt whole for the first time in decades. I didn't want to leave. That peace, it was home. But then he said the words that tore through me. "Jennifer needs you. Emma and Grace need their father. And the world needs to hear what I've shown you." That was the moment I knew I had to go back. Not because I wanted to, but because I was sent. I felt the light begin to fade. I could hear sounds again. Distant, metallic, real. Helicopter rotors, medical instruments, voices shouting over the roar. "We've got him back. Stay with us, Carter." And then, nothing. Darkness. Silence. A deep, gasping inhale. I opened my eyes, lying on a gurney, chest burning, ribs shattered, lungs raw. A Navy corpsman leaned over me wide-eyed. "Welcome back, Petty Officer Carter. You were gone for 14 minutes. 14 minutes. 14 minutes of clinical death. But to me, it had felt like days, maybe more, because time moves differently in eternity. And now I was back, with breath in my lungs and fire in my spirit, because Jesus didn't just show me a vision, he gave me a mission. The days that followed were a blur of recovery and re-entry, physical therapy, psychological evaluations, endless paperwork. No one understood how I survived. The doctors called it a miracle. The military called it anomalous but successful resuscitation. But I knew better. I had been dead, not figuratively, clinically, completely, gone. And yet I came back carrying something weightier than medals or missions. A message. I couldn't ignore it. I tried to hold back, tried to tell myself no one would believe me, but the visions wouldn't leave me. The words Jesus spoke echoed louder than any battlefield memory. And the signs were starting to manifest all around the world, just as he said they would. I started to speak, quietly at first, in churches, in veterans groups, in one-on-one conversations. And I was met with a mix of awe and skepticism. Some believed instantly, others smiled politely and never contacted me again. But I didn't stop. I couldn't, because I remembered what Jesus told me. Even when they mock you, speak. Even when they call you unstable, speak. Even when your own people question your mental fitness, speak. So I spoke, and each time I did, something changed. Not always dramatically, but noticeably. People began to pray, some just for a moment. Others started prayer groups, a few even fasted. The lights were flickering to life again, just as I'd seen. Then came the global headlines: tensions in the Pacific, cyber attacks on US power grids, threats of nuclear tests, military drills disguised as invasions, and I realized this wasn't theoretical anymore. The storm clouds Jesus showed me, they were forming, tangibly, visibly. Governments called them geopolitical developments. Analysts used words like posturing and escalation, but I saw the truth behind the veil. This was spiritual alignment. The forces he revealed to me were tightening their grip. The darkness wasn't waiting, it was advancing. But I also saw something else. A quiet revival beginning to spark. Not on TV, not in famous cathedrals, but in kitchens, basements, barracks. People were beginning to understand that prayer wasn't a ritual. It was warfare. Sometimes I wake in the middle of the night, heart racing, because I hear those last words again. Tell them the time is short. I think about how we live as if tomorrow is guaranteed, as if history can't repeat. But every great war began with warnings unheeded. And this one, this spiritual war, offers only two outcomes: awakening or annihilation. I don't say that lightly. I say it because I saw it. I felt it. I stood in it. And I know that your prayers, yes, yours, have the power to push this world toward one path or the other. You don't need to be a pastor. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to believe. Believe that heaven listens when earth cries out. If you're still listening to me, it's because something inside you knows there's truth here. Maybe you've dismissed prayer as passive. Maybe you think it's too late to change what's coming. Or maybe, like I once did, you think you're too broken, too far gone to make a difference. But I'm telling you, none of that is true. The most powerful weapon in this war is not money, not politics, not military force. It's repentance. It's humility. It's the moment you drop to your knees and say, "God, use me." Because when you pray like that, heaven moves. Angels are dispatched. Strongholds begin to break. Entire atmospheres begin to shift. And your voice, combined with the others, becomes the wall that holds back judgment. My daughters are 10 now. They still don't know the full story. They know their dad got hurt overseas. They know I came home different. But one day, they'll hear everything. And when they do, I pray it gives them courage, not fear. Because this message isn't about doom. It's about hope. It's about the chance to change the ending. Jesus didn't show me the vision so I'd return in despair. He showed it to me because there's still time. Because prayer is still a weapon. Because we're not helpless. Not yet. I think of their future every time I kneel. And I pray not just for them, but for yours. For every child who deserves to grow up in peace, not under the shadow of nuclear fire. So now it's in your hands. You can ignore this. Dismiss it as the fantasy of a traumatized soldier. You can scroll on and pretend the world isn't inching toward a cliff. Or you can act. You can kneel. You can pray. You can be part of the network of light I saw stretching across the planet. It starts small, with your voice, your heart, your willingness. But that's how revival begins. One prayer becomes a chain. One life becomes a spark. And before long, the darkness doesn't stand a chance. I've delivered the message I was given. The burden is lifted. The choice is now yours. Will you answer the call? Will you rise up in faith? Will you pray like the world depends on it, because it does? If you've made it this far, then you've heard everything I came back to say. You've walked through my death, my encounter with Jesus, the vision of what's coming, and the undeniable power of prayer. This isn't just a story to be heard. It's a message to be acted on. Time is short, but hope is alive. The future hasn't been written in stone. It's being shaped right now, not by presidents or generals, but by people just like you, choosing to get on their knees and intercede for the world. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Don't just close this video and go back to life as usual. Pray, right now, in your own words. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. Cry out for your nation. Cry out for the nations of the world. Ask God to bring peace, to stop what's coming, to awaken hearts. If you've never prayed before, start today. If you already pray, deepen it. Fast. Worship. Repent. Invite others into it. Let your home become part of that golden network of light I saw blanketing the earth. If this message has stirred your spirit, don't let it end here. Share it. Send it to someone who needs to hear it. Talk about it in your church, your small group, your community. The enemy wants this warning to stay buried. Don't let it. Be bold, be faithful, be obedient. And if you want to walk this journey together, subscribe to the channel, follow the updates. Let's build a movement of prayer that pushes back darkness and prepares the way for peace. And above all, follow Jesus. If you don't know him, if you've been distant, now is the time. He's not waiting to condemn you. He's waiting to receive you. The same Jesus who looked me in the eye, who called me by name, is calling you too. He's ready to forgive, to restore, to lead you into purpose. Say yes to him. Don't wait for tomorrow. Today is the day of decision. If this message gave you clarity, if it gave you hope, or if it woke something up inside of you, stay connected. There's more coming, more stories, more truth, more ways to pray and engage. But it only works if we stay in this together. This isn't just a one-time encounter. It's a calling to walk daily in awareness and faith. You're not alone in this. You're part of a growing army of intercessors, and your voice matters more than you know. So I'm asking you, as a father, as a veteran, and as someone who stood on the other side of death, don't just watch the world fall into war. Stand in the gap. Be the light. Be the difference. Pray like the world depends on it, because it does. And if you ever feel overwhelmed, just remember, one prayer in faith can shift history. One surrendered heart can save a city. One united church can change the world. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for opening your heart. And thank you, in advance, for the prayers you'll pray from this moment on. Stay close. Stay bold. Stay faithful. We're in this together. Until next time, may you walk in truth, stand in peace, and never stop praying. I'll see you soon.